check off some of the things that you guys want to ask. But um, clearly, a very disappointing day. Look, our guys have really want this, uh, and it's probably looks like our guys don't. But I know, what our last 6 weeks have been like, just to fight and scratch and claw to get into this, and that's why this is such a disappointing game, because I know how much everybody cares, and we just we laid an egg today. A big part of it was Cleveland. They once we jumped on them at the start of the game, then they just took control of it from there, and it became an avalanche, going the other direction. And sometimes when you care, you know, um, you just there's a level of discouragement that kind of fed into that avalanche, and that's what we all feel disappointed about. From a tactical standpoint, I have to do a better job, helping our team offensively. In particular, Tyler and Bam. They've done a very good job just selling out to try to take those two guys out, particularly out of our normal things. And that's playoff basketball. I have to do a better job. We won't have all the solutions, by Monday, but all we'll be focused on is one game, and that's a sign of great respect. Tyler's earned that. He's absolutely earned that kind of respect. Tyler just basically, it's a man to man, but it's a boxing one man to man. They're denying him all over the place because they know how dangerous he can be. And the same thing with Bam. Bam, creates so many triggers and opportunities for us. Especially when he catches it in the paint, they're swarming. Um, so it makes sense from a coaching standpoint when I see it, and now it's up to us, to counter that and make sure that they're both, and Wiggs, can continue to play or find a way to get in their strength zones against a team that's really selling out to take them out of that.
Could you see like during that 18-0 run in that first quarter, they're really clogging up the lanes for you guys, and even
Big
finding,
time.
yeah, even finding kind of a lot of points in the paint. I think they finished in 60. Can you just kind of talk about those two
Yeah,
games?
that was the discouragement that kind of led to a lot of breakdowns. So it wasn't easy for us offensively. We've been rightly so become reliant on Tyler creating a lot of offense, for us, and they kind of took him out of his normal stuff, with the face guarding and denying, and that led to some of the discouragement where we made our defense has been really good of late, and tonight it was tough to recognize our defense, and I think that was from the discouragement of our offense not really flowing the way we're accustomed to it doing. That's why I have to do a better job. And that was a very good job on their part. But there are, normal things that we can defend much better. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to end up in a stop. There were some things that we did defend well, and they had, some buzzer beaters at the end of the clock. But there were a lot of mistakes also, and I think it led from, some of the tough offensive possessions, and we're living in those possessions, and it just kind of led to more. Um, and that's where we have to work on the next 48 hours, is to be better, in those situations.
Speaking of that face guarding they're doing with Tyler, you had that success in game two, getting him off the ball and creating opportunities for him there. What changed from game two to game three in that
They
area?
just sold out even more. There has to be more team recognition with it. It's not the first time we've seen it, but they do it well, and they have two bigs that also can protect, extremely well. If there is an advantage, that they close those advantages quickly. But everybody has to be on the same page with that, and we just have to be better, collectively, finding a way to get Tyler, Bam, Wiggs to the strength zones against a team that's trying to take them out of that, and it can't be, without it being in a normal flow. If you're going out of your normal thing, you're exhausting. trying to get open, then now you're playing into late in the clock.
Not a lot of rookies get a chance to start in playoff series. What do you hope that Kalel can learn from a game like this?
It's not only this game. It's the 2 games before this. It's the 2 play-ins. We're also dependent on his minutes. How many ever minutes those may be, and I understand he's being fed through a fire hose, and he just arrived here in July, but you still inherit all of our experiences from and expectations of previous playoff, of last year. He cares. We're coaching him hard, and I feel for him because there's an expectation that he has to be there like a vet. These are important learning experiences. He's getting better from it because if anything, he's not like at the highest level, whether it's an effort, awareness, a communication standpoint. In the playoffs, you pay the price, on that. So he cares, and he'll go right back to work tomorrow, and that's the thing that I respect about Kalel.
Obviously, Andrew's important to what you guys want to do with them selling out to Bam and Tyler. How important is it to get him activated? What's the challenge?
He's really important. He has to be assertive. He has to be aggressive. I have to do a better job of getting him in spots where he can really produce for us. And that's the task, in the next 2 days. He knows it. I know it. Our team knows it. That can also look a lot different if you're selling out on Tyler. If he can, really, put some points or create some actions for us. It doesn't have to be points. It can be just making the right play and going to him and it being really efficient for us. That can make the other team blink. But again, I have to do a better job of getting him in places where he can feel, comfortable and aggressive.
How do you feel Tyler's handling the kind of the emotional and the intellectual challenge of how they're guarding him? And you're holding yourself accountable, but also how do you hold Tyler accountable?
Oh, Tyler cares. Tyler goes to work at this. Come on, he just had a monster game, and what they just said, we're going to do whatever we have to do to make sure that he doesn't have that. That's born out of respect. We'll all get to work, and that's what Tyler always does. But this is playoff basketball. All the really good players have to go through this. You get schemed, and it's the schemes are on steroids. In the playoffs, he'll respond. We have 2 days, to figure this out. All right, thank you.
Locker was open. Kalel is there now and available. We need him.
Tyler, obviously that's a quality opponent out there, but I think you guys also think there is more that you can offer or show or throw back against them. What's it like going through one of these? And is there a disappointment in coming home and not being able to make it more competitive?
Yeah, definitely disappointing. Just not enough to obviously compete against a team like that.
Tyler, they're obviously throwing a lot at you. You found some success last game playing off the ball a little more, but today, what did they do differently maybe to limit your shot attempts and maybe make it a little tougher on you?
Just we call it topping, like keeping me from coming off and not allowing me to get any handoffs or come off pin downs or anything like that. So they just pretty much face guarded me and downed me into the corner.
You've faced defenses that know how to top block, they know how to switch over those actions. What do they do that's kind of like at a different level? And how do you feel about like now that you're the number one option, like being in this challenge where the whole defense is geared to take the ball out of your hands?
I think they do it best, honestly, just because the 2 bigs that they play. So if you're forcing me inside the arc before I even catch the ball, I'm catching the ball in the paint or under the 3-point line, and they have 2 bigs down there clogging up the paint. So I think that's kind of their process too, is just try to force me inside the line and into their bigs.
Obviously, when a team is down, obviously 0-3 in the series, obviously history is really against that. Can you just kind of talk about maybe the mental approach kind of heading into a game 4 when you're down that much in the series?
Yeah, I told the guys in the locker room, you know, we wanted to be here. You know, we're the 10 seed. We had 2 games to win on the road. We could have let go of the rope then. We could have, you know, lost one of those games. But we wanted this. We wanted to be in the playoffs. That's our reality right now. But like I told the guys, it's not time to let go of the rope. You know, we're gonna play to the final buzzer, and whether that's next game, game 5, 6, 7, another series after this, we just got to keep playing. That's what we're paid to do, and that's who we are as an organization. We want to compete, and we're not going out 4-0.
Tyler, to that end, you know what the stats say when you get down 3-0. Is there a freedom that comes with now there's absolutely nothing? I mean, now you're supposed to lose. So now, is there a freedom that comes with there's going to be minimal expectation now on you guys the rest of the way? Is that a place where this team can kind of flourish?
I mean, yeah, but I don't think the expectation was high on us to start the series either. So who knows? We'll see what happens. I just know we need a better disposition throughout the entire, you know, game.
How did it change so fast? Good first 5 minutes, you guys were getting stops, getting out and going. Everybody seemed to be touching the ball. It was working. And then, as Spo would say, it was like that. I mean, when it changed in an instant. What went sideways?
I think it, you know, it's kind of been like that all year for us. When things go the other way, they go the other way quick. I think that's on me and Bam, as I told the guys in the locker room. That's on me, Bam, mainly me to have, you know, a better just energy, better, you know, everything throughout the game, trying to just lead the guys. I got to be better in that area.
Bam, you even spoke to us yesterday how the expectation was to come home, make things better, get things right, and maybe reset the series. So how frustrating does it leave you guys to wind up with a result like this?
It's embarrassing, flat out. But you know, I feel like worry about this next game Monday. There's no point of looking at film at this point. Scratch this game, and then you got to move on to Monday.
Bam, Spo described how they're defending Tyler is not a box and one, but kind of a box and one man to man. There was success in game 2, getting him off the ball and getting him some opportunities there. What changed between games 2 and 3? What are they doing better?
I mean, obviously, you see the baselines. You see him not being able to get his normal catch and shoots, his normal boogie moves, and we'll have to adjust. Plain and simple.
Bam, obviously now down 0-3 in the series. Obviously, history is not very grateful towards that number. But you've said before, not let go of the rope. Does that need to be even more amplified to kind of the group?
Yeah. Hell yeah. I've been a part of a team that was up 3-0, and then in the blink of an eye, we were going into a game 7. So obviously, there's still a chance. You know, as captain, you know me, I'm going swinging. I don't care. We gonna ride it till the wheels fall off.
Can you take us through the play where you got banged up and what was you got under the basket? Yeah.
I mean, consider I was the one getting flipped in there. Can't really know what happened. But I know me, man. I'm always figure out how to get up, walk it off, get back out there. I've been tough my whole life, so one fall can't stop me.
Tyler said a few minutes ago in here that he got up in the locker room and talked about how you guys had to win 2 road games just to get in. How you've had your back to the wall before, how this isn't the time to give up. Is that going to be the message from you as well, and maybe even more emphatically, knowing How you like to
Man,
give
we
messages?
they understand my mentality. They understand my message. At this point, I don't really got to say a whole lot. Understanding what's at stake. Uh, I just know, we got to clean up a lot of stuff, including me. I had 6 turnovers today. Very out of my character to have 6 turnovers. And a lot of them were unforced, but like I said, we're gonna get back to this thing on Monday.
Bam, your pickup in 3-point attempts and conversions, has that been because of what they've been doing, or is this just what we're seeing, the increased confidence from you from that spot to sort of let it fly?
Both. I feel like if you're gonna keep running 2 bigs to the basket, somebody's open, and it's usually me. So set my feet, take my time, and obviously it's going in.
I know he wasn't playing much, but how much have you guys missed K-Love's presence, just as a voice and somebody to,
I mean,
just for the experience and all that?
Considering K Love's been a person that's come back from 3-1, we could use his voice, but K Love's going through a lot right now. We text him here and there, but understand we still got to play the game. Still got to figure it out. Still got to figure out how to get one win. That's what we worry about on Monday.
You talked yesterday about the respect that you have for Tyler and seeing the way he works and the way he tries to solve these problems. Like, you have this disconnect that Cleveland's defense is creating between the two of you. How do you try to solve that? And just how do you feel like he's handled that kind of like emotional, intellectual challenge of trying to break through that?
I've seen Tyler go through worse. It's, like I said, the media has dragged that man through his name through the mud a lot. In the times he's been in that jersey, not only during the season but off season. So I feel like he's gonna go to his film. Then when we come back tomorrow, watch film a little bit. We're gonna figure it out, be vocal, eye-to-eye communication, and see what happens Monday.